In this lesson, we will continue our exploration of capacity and expand it to include the milliliter. This is Chef Alexia's favorite soup recipe. She serves it piping hot with sour cream. Each item in the recipe is measured in liters or milliliters. We use the symbol ml for milliliters. Now, it's important with milliliters that we have a lowercase m and an uppercase L. This is similar to millimeters that we used with our measurement of distance. So it's the same breakdown of our main unit or our base unit of the liter. So we have a blueberry soup here. I have never tried this. I don't know if it's good or not. If you guys decide you want to try it, please let me know how it goes. But you can see that she has 1 liter of water, and then the rest of these are measured in milliliters. So if you went to your fridge or pantry previously to take a look at the different measurements, you might have noticed some of them measured in milliliters. So I know canned goods, if you looked at a can of soup, would be in milliliters. Anything else that's in a liquid container, so a smaller bottle of pop or a can of pop would be in milliliters. So it's another really common measurement that we use when we are looking at capacity. So I have a bit of an explorer here. So you have some containers and some water. And what I would like you to do is take a look at the different measurements and then take some of these things. So maybe an old butter or margarine dish or sour cream. Maybe you have some cups. They have, for example, the lid of a certain bottle of water, and measure how many milliliters or liters are in each of them. Now, if you have measuring spoons for when you are baking, they will often have 2 measurements on them. So they will have both teaspoon, tablespoon. Those are the imperial measurements. So those are the measurements that are very common in the United States. And because we are so close to the United States, we often have our recipes in them as well. But they'll often also have milliliters on them. So you'll have your teaspoon and then however many milliliters a teaspoon is on that same measuring spoon, because a great portion of the world uses only milliliters, and they use only those metric measurements. So if you were to use a recipe that is from England or France or Italy, all of the measurements would be in milliliters. So try this out if you would like. If not, you can move on to the next portion, which is more of the notes on this. All right, so either you've done the Explorer or you have not, but we're going to talk a little bit about what is a milliliter. So a milliliter is a small unit of capacity. 1 liter is fairly large. A milliliter is fairly small. So an eyedropper has a capacity of about 1 milliliter, and it holds about 10 drops. So we know that the amount of liquid that goes inside that hollow tube is typically 1 milliliter. Now, it really depends on what you are using that eyedropper from. Some of them are obviously going to be bigger. So you may look at some of the other measurements, especially your measuring spoons, might give you a better idea of what 1 or maybe 2 or 5 millimeters looks like, and you guys can use your understanding of fractions to try and determine what would 1 milliliter look like. So this measuring jug has a capacity of 500 milliliters. So if you have a small liquid measuring cup, or like a standard size one, I guess it depends on what all you have in your home, that's about 500 milliliters. Now, it would take 2 of those to get to 1 liter. So one thing that we know is that in 1 liter of capacity, there's actually 1,000 milliliters. So for every liter that I have 1,000 milliliters. And you guys can try that out by actually measuring it with some measuring cups if you would like, just to sort of get an idea and a good visual in your brain as to what that looks like. So I have some practice questions here for you. So the first couple are determining whether you think which is the better estimate for what those containers might hold. And then it kind of whether you should use milliliter or liter to measure each of these things. You might even take, and if you have a baby bottle, or I think this is toothpaste, if you have that in your home, you might actually go and take a look and see what are they measuring in. That might give you a little bit of help. And then I just want to talk about this one here. So as you get to this one, we know, and I'm going to do 7A for you, that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. So by using that, you should be able to move between milliliters and liters for the rest of these questions. And just another little kind of interesting piece of information. So an adult human, now you guys are smaller than full-grown adults, so yours is a little bit less, but an adult human has about 5 liters of blood in them. And when a mosquito bites us, that is about 1/200th of a milliliter. So when you guys are exploring and deciding how big a millimeter is, or milliliter, sorry, think about if I were to cut that milliliter or divide it up into 200 little pieces, that's how much blood a mosquito would bite from you. So I know sometimes when you slap one and it has bitten you, it seems like a lot of blood, but it's really spread out. So it's kind of a neat thing to think about when we are comparing how much some of these things are. So go ahead and try those questions. If you would like me to check them, please take a picture or scan it and send it to me via email. I will definitely go over the answers and see if you're on the right track. Otherwise, we do have a checkup assignment that is going to be on Thursday. So if you would like to wait till then to decide or to see how you're doing, that is good as well. Your mom and dad or whoever else is an adult or older than you at home might be able to support you in this as well. This is something that we use a lot in our everyday lives, so this is something that you can probably have some conversations about around the supper table, or just ask some questions about what's, you know, the areas that you're struggling with. I look forward to seeing your assignment on Thursday or the answers to your questions via email sooner than that.